Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to review the 2018 home invasion style horror movie He's Out There, a film that stars Yvonne Straczynski, who you will recognise from shows like Dexter and Chuck and The Handmaid's Tale, and was recently in The Predator as well. And this is a film that focuses on Yvonne Straczynski's character, who is married with two young daughters. And at the beginning of the movie you see that they are packing up and heading out to their holiday home, which is several hours away in the country. However, her husband can't follow on straight away. He's got a business appointment and he's going to follow on later and meet them there later that night. They get to their holiday location, their house in the country that they holiday at once a year. All seems fine, and the kids notice that there is like some string leading them to this outdoor tea party that they think is some sort of game. Everything's settled, everything's lovely, and then lo and behold it starts getting a bit sinister, and it is clear that they are being watched by someone who is playing games with them basically. You hear all this like weird giggling going on, and it continues to escalate, and it to the point where Yvonne Straczynski is without any doubt that her and her family's lives are deeply at risk because of this, and she has to fight for the lives of her and her family. That's kind of it without saying too much more, because obviously I don't want to go into spoiler territory. Now then, what did I think of this film? Well, I thought for the most part this was a well-made film that had a strong lead in Yvonne Straczynski. I've always liked her. I've always thought that she looks really good on camera. She's a talented actress, and she probably deserves to be seen a little bit more, certainly in regards to movies and things. And she does a great job in this film. She really carries this film and makes you invested in her character and her family. In regards to things that I don't think worked with this film, I think the two little actresses they got as the daughters, and I don't like to call out poor child performances, but they did leave an awful lot to be desired, if I'm being really brutally honest. There were a lot of overacting going on, and I just thought, to say that the majority of this film is just Yvonne Straczynski's character and her two daughters for much of this film, I think it needed really strong performances by everybody, and unfortunately I think their performances don't particularly work very well. I thought the film did a really good job of building tension. I thought the guy that was stalking them was menacing enough. There was a good amount of mystery about him, although there is a reveal in the film as to who this character may be, and he may have some connection to the house that they are living in, having a holiday in. But this film suffers from a severe lack of originality and predictability, unfortunately, and I find that a lot with these home invasion movies. They tend to be pretty predictable, and this is no exception. It's done well, I grant you, but it is hugely predictable. The husband turns up, as you can imagine, much later into the night when it's all kicking off, and you don't need more than one or two guesses to figure out where that goes. And again, like I say, hugely predictable, but you get the neighbour giving you the red herring initially. You get the creepy neighbour saying hello, who you think, ooh, maybe he's the guy, and then the creepy neighbour turns up later on and you're thinking, yo, I knew it was you, and then you get the shock that it may not be him. So it's massively predictable in a lot of ways, this film. But I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was pretty well done, this film. I did have a good time watching it. I did feel like it was well made. I did feel like they didn't give you cheap scares. They worked hard to build the tension, the good performances. And for me, I'm not a huge fan of this type of horror movie, the home invasion type ones. I do find them, generally speaking, hugely predictable and not overly interesting. And well, as I wouldn't say this is a film that I will highly recommend, I do think this is worth checking out, especially if this is your type of thing. There's enough in here to keep it going. There are some good scares, there are some fairly brutal scenes, some decent gore here and there, and the central character is sinister enough. So for me, guys, I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. I was toying with the idea of a 7 out of 10 because there's nothing wrong with it. It's not a bad film. It's just nothing you haven't seen before with this type of horror movie. But it's well made. Great performance by Yvonne Straczynski. To say that, you know, she has to carry this whole film. A fairly enclosed film, but really filled with some good tension. And some good horror moments and some good scares occasionally. So this might be worth checking out if it's your sort of thing. It just didn't blow my socks off, if you like. So there you go, guys. Thank you very much for watching.